All right. Hello, 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 hello.
Hello.
So, guys, I just want to tell you that this is Unique Euphony Coffee Canvas and Conversation. And boy, we have some really great conversations. And today we will be talking about uh, a foundation of kindness. And our host would be Dr. Lula Bridges. And I am excited about this. And I hope you are too. Go ahead and invite your friends, all your Facebook friends to come on. We will be recorded on Facebook and on YouTube. So let's get started. Now, let me first introduce, we have Dr. Hold up, guys. We have Dr. Lula, which is up at the top on your left, Lula Bridges, and she's awesome. I really got to meet with her at Montgomery on this past Monday for the Martin Luther King celebration, and it was like we've been knowing each other for years and years and years. And then we have our co-host, Gary Taylor, our brother from another planet. He's a journalist, and he's doing all this writing for the magazine, everything with Arts Magazine. We're so excited to see his work. And then we have Miss Jan Canada, which is we call her our new Maya Angelou, which is a poet, and she has a book out, and she'll be talking a little bit about that. And then somehow we lost, let me see, did we lose somebody? We lost somebody. Who did we lose?
Your brother.
My brother. How did we lose?
Okay.
I don't know what's going on with you, Kenny, but you're going to have to stay on here. I don't know how you keep getting off. And he's going to be talking about today. He's our guest, and he's going to be talking about his business. And then we have Latavia on here, my only daughter, my only child, is going to be talking about her business. This is a family affair today, guys. I'm getting ready to turn it over now to Dr. Lula Bridges.
Hello, everyone. So good to see everybody. Mr. Kenny, I'm going to get you for getting up when I start talking. Anyway, today we're going to talk about kindness as a foundation. A lot of people think kindness is something that just happens, right? And I hope this will be a conversation instead of me doing all the talking here. But, you know, when you think about somebody, you think about kindness, you just think that person just a kind person. Oh, that's just a kind person. That person, oh, that's just a mean person. But sometimes our lives kind of shape who we become based on the things that has happened to us. We could be a mean person, or life has just made us into the person that we have become. So, but today we're going to explore kindness from a family standpoint. You know, how you can encourage your children to be kind. And actually it starts at home. You know, have you ever seen a kid that's bullying somebody, and then when you meet mom, you don't have to ask, is that child's mom? As soon as mom opens her mouth, you know that child belongs to that woman because of that woman's behavior. Well, that's how kindness is. You teach your children pick up, echo and flame. Your children pick up what you have echoed into the universe, as a lot of you would say, universe, and they pick that up, and then they turn around and you see it blossoming or blowing up or lighting up on the other side. So what they've learned at home, they turn around and they bring it out into the public. So if they learn how to be mean and hateful to someone or bully someone, then they learn that at home, and then they turn around and they bully other children when they get out in public, because that's the behavior they have learned. So our lesson today is on two different scriptures. One, Micah 6:8, and then the other one is Ephesians 4:32, and it says, be kind and compassionate to one another. Now, last night we were talking about, you know, you can be kind and compassionate to each other, but sometimes you just have to really take care of yourself. You know, you have to protect yourself. So everybody that, you know, you see a person, oh, she's really kind and nice, but then all of a sudden you find out that she's a 4th degree black belt. She will take you out.
Oh.
She's kind, all right, but she will take you out too.
Yeah,
So,
we kind of talked about that too.
yeah, we talked about that last night.
Somebody has their hand up. Who has the hand up?
Yeah.
Who? Okay. Well, anyway, so I just wanted
to. When she mentioned the 4th degree black belt part, I said, "Hey,
that's right. He's a sensei. He's a karate sensei.
Oh, you are? Okay, all right. That's awesome. That's awesome.
So he's out there teaching a lot of bullies how to say, teaching a lot of people how to protect themselves against bullies.
Against bullies, right. You know, and one of the methods that we show that we are kind, instead of, you know, slapping somebody upside the head first, you may tell them how you feel. You may say to them, listen, you know, I don't like the fact you stepped on my foot and didn't say, excuse me, you know, and that person may turn around and, you know, just kind of curse you out and say, yeah, I'll step on it again, et cetera, et cetera. But when you learn kindness at home, you also learn that you are not going to be picked on. You're not going to be bullied. You're not taking any of those kind of things. Now, it doesn't mean that you're going to always fight back. Sometimes the process is not fighting back. The process is listening first and responding if you need to, because sometimes people are not worth you wasting your time knocking them upside their head. They're just not worth you going to jail. They're not worth all the things that could happen to you if you respond to them in a negative way. So sometimes killing people with kindness will be more powerful than actually taking a negative stance against them. They may deserve it, but sometimes you need to, you yourself have to decide, after you take a deep breath, after you hear what they're saying, after you explain to them what they've done wrong, and based on their reaction, and also based on the consequences behind their reaction. If you react to them, if Kitty at 5th degree black belt, I know your sensei, I'm assuming you call him sensei, told you that you're not, I know they told my son, who is a 3rd degree black belt, told him your body is a weapon. So you can't go around jumping on folks. You know, you can't do that. That's not what you do. You know, you're there to protect and serve in a lot of ways that police officers can't do, because you're on the street and your rules are a little different from the police officers. Things they can't get away with, you can. So, you know, you are there to protect and serve. The only thing you can't, I told my son, I said, look, I don't care if you're a 19th degree black belt. I don't even know if there's such thing as that. I told him, I don't care if you're a 19th degree black belt. You can't outrun a bullet, okay? So,
that's true.
So you need to take your time, listen to what's being said, and move accordingly to what you're hearing. Not reacting to the fact that you're a 3rd degree black belt and you can hurt somebody. That's not what it's about. So when you teach kindness to people, you also teach them to protect themselves, and you're not afraid of the person that's bothering you. You're not afraid of them. They may feel like you are being kind because you're afraid of them, but the mere fact that you are able to express yourself to them says that you're not afraid of them. See, sometimes people think you're afraid. Oh, you know, they try to be kind because they don't want me to beat them up, or they don't want me whatever. No, being kind to people is what God says we need to do. That's part of our commandments, is to treat people like we want to be treated. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and I want to say this, not to interrupt you, Doctor. I just want to go ahead and say this.
Okay.
We was just talking about this last night when we was doing a rehearsal, is that I was telling you how I became, I guess to say, a bully because of the fact that I was the kind person when I was little, and I met this person. My brother Kenny's laughing because he know that I was a bully. So, but here's the thing, is that I never forget when I was little, and I told you the story, is that this little girl, she was much bigger than me, and I was a little scroungy little thing, and she used to always pick on me. She was the bully, you know. And I know I came home one day with my dress all torn, and my mom said, "You come back in here again with your dress torn, I'm gonna whoop your butt." And I said, oh, no, because my mother, she would whoop you. I'm talking about switches, that kind of whooping, you know. And so I remember the next day I picked up a bottle because I saw her coming, and I picked up a bottle and I hit her with that bottle, not knowing that she was scarier than I was. You know, it's just that she thought she was bigger and badder. And I hit her with that bottle. She was crying. And, you know, after that, we became friends. That's the good thing about back then, is that we can do things and become friends again and invite them to lunch. But now they're killing and carrying on, and there's no coming back, you know.
There's no talking. There's no talking. There's no
talk, no communication anymore. It's just kill. I just want to kill them. I just want to stab them. I just want to shoot them, you know, and I want to beat them to death. And it's no coming back. We used to just fight, and then, you know, my brother in the neighborhood, we used to fight all our little friends and stuff, running down the street fighting and carrying on. But then we became friends again. Right now, as adults, we talking. I saw my brother talking on Facebook to Trent Norman, was one of our little childhood neighborhood friends. We used to fight them guys. We used to fight the whole family. You know, but now we can talk with each other, and so yeah,
we all black belts together.
See, they both were karate senseis together. Yeah,
Okay,
that is awesome. Anybody else got any? Anybody has any questions?
Yeah, anybody else want to add to that? Okay, Mr. Gary.
I think that kindness is something that everybody has to learn, and I think once we learn it, it's easy to make that a lifestyle. So first we have to learn it, and then after we learn it, kindness is a lifestyle.
Right. It becomes a lifestyle. But
guys, I gotta hold you 1 minute. I have a commercial, or I have a presentation. Miss Sheila Bowen, she is very busy today. She has some clients, and I asked her to come on and talk about her business right quick. I'm going to give her about 4 or 5. Okay. Sheila, are you ready?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Well, I'm an owner of Awesome Blessed Hair Salon. I created this business 2015. I actually bought a commercial building, and I turned it into the hair salon. So I've been owning this business for 10 years. Outside of me doing hair, I do other things. I'm a community leader. I'm the vice president of Appleton County NAACP. I graduated in 2023 from private investigation school. Then I went back and I graduated from paralegal. So I'm basically a very busy person. I stay really, really busy. I'm very active in the community doing different things. I just was at the White House, in Washington, D.C. with another organization, a young lady by the name of Triana James. She's working on a bill doing cervical cancer. Mm-hmm. But outside of my hair salon, I'm just like today, I'm doing clients today. I'll be working, doing hair rest of the day. Then I set aside and I work on different cases. So I'm really busy when it comes to doing things.
And also, I want to mention before you leave, Sheila, she's also was my chairperson of political action when I was the president of the NAACP of the state of Georgia, and she was awesome. So we have been friends ever since. We never disconnected after that, because I don't forget the people that do great things for me. Anybody have any questions to ask her?
No.
Okie dokie then. Miss Sheila, thank you so much for coming. Who dropped off? Is that my
where are you located, Miss Sheila?
I'm in Baxley, Georgia.
In Baxley, Georgia?
Yes, my salon is in Baxley.
How far is that from the Alabama line? Did I ask you this once before? How far is that from the Alabama line?
I want to say probably 4 hours, 4 to 5 hours.
Wow. Okay, so you're down near Savannah? Are you down in that area?
I actually sit in between Vidalia, Jessup, Alma, Hazelhurst. I'm right smack dead in the middle. I'm like 30 something miles from each one of these places.
Okay.
I actually come here. I just do appointments only, but I'm actually trying to get into Florida. So I'm basically
Okay.
licensed here in Georgia and Florida.
Okay.
So
That's
I travel
awesome.
back and forth.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Well, we want to thank you so much because you come on every week and we never talk about your business and what you do, and that is not fair. And so we are so glad that you were able to come on and tell us a little bit about what you do, because you are a very special person, a very good friend of mine, and thank you so much. And I know that you do have clients today, so if you drop off, it's okay. We understand because we know you'll be back next week. Okay.
I'm fine for right now, and my client
Okay,
ain't
yeah,
got
but stay on
no
because we got a couple more things to talk about this weekend. On this Monday, this past Monday, we were at the Martin Luther King birthday celebration in Montgomery. That's where Dr. Lula Bridges and myself was at, and we was here with these two kids, and we was with Sasha Smith and Samaya. And I tell you, these guys sold out their books. They did a great job. And this is what Sasha's book, The Dark, and she did really good on selling it. And this is the one that she totally sold out. And we want you guys to go to Amazon and get these kids' books because these kids are awesome. They're doing a great job. And also Samaya, she's working on her second book, My Mommy is a Porcupine. She had one of the best tables there. She had stuffed animals and she had, they even gave away food. They even gave away food to the people that was what you call it, handicapped or mentally challenged or whatever. A whole group of them came back and they just gave them things to eat and stuff like that. I was so proud of these two kids. They did a great presentation. So guys, support them. Go to Amazon.com and order their books. They're only $18 and yeah, support them. Okay. Okay, Dr. Lula, you're back on.
Okay, well, I tell you what, in a few minutes, I want to hear about the businesses, the other business, your daughter as well as your.
Yeah, we'll be doing that. Yes.
Okay. So, let's talk about the 3 pillars of kindness. Okay, there are 3 pillars, and we don't really think about it as being pillars of kindness, but there are 3. And one, you want to do justice. Okay, when you're in a situation that requires kindness over being justifiable homicide, instead of dealing with justifiable homicide, you want to be kind. If you can be kind to that person, and you will see the difference when people realize, like what Pastor Pierce said. When people realize you're not scared of them, you get a whole different person.
That's right.
And they feel like you're scared of them, they may react in a different manner. And so do justice, love mercy, meaning feel sorry for them or understand that they may be going through something, the reason why they're picking on you. Okay. So you kind of have to have patience. That's what it amounts to. And you have to teach these things to your children. As a parent, you teach these things to your children. And the third pillar is walk humbly. Okay. Show that you are humble. Say, I'm sorry. Did I do something to you? Help me understand what it is that happened. I don't know what happened. Did I trip over your foot? Did I hit your foot? What did I do that has made you feel like you need to bully me? And give them a chance to talk.
Somebody needs to mute their phone. I mean, mute their mic. I'm sorry. Okay.
So right. I personally feel that part of letting people know that you're not scared of them is not reacting. If you don't react immediately, then they get suspicious because they feel like, why aren't they saying anything? Why aren't they why aren't they crying? Or why aren't they cussing me out? Or why aren't they, they want you to have some kind of reaction, but if there is no reaction and you're just being humble enough to want to know what's going on with them, is something happening that has caused you to behave like this. Now, some people get mad and then they really get mad because you're saying that I'm acting like this. because of this, and I'm acting like this because I'm just mad at you. So, but being humble is one of the 3 pillars of being kind.
All right, and I just want to, if you don't mind, I want to go ahead on to Latavia and let her do her part, because I see she has her hand full here.
Yes, she does.
So,
Yes.
Latavia, you want to go ahead? Dr. Lula Huff would love to. Lula Bridge would love to hear your presentation of your business.
Yes, I definitely would.
Latavia, there? Latavia. Sounds like she's doing some serious work there.
Sounds like Mr. Knox might have to go next.
Yeah, go ahead, Kenny.
Hey, okay. I guess I wasn't prepared just yet. But okay.
Some examples.
Okay, you ready for me?
We're ready.
How you doing? My name is Mr. Knox, CEO and founder of K Knox and Company. K Knox and Company is the parent company of K Knox Collections, which is my jewelry business that we were talking about earlier. And let me see if I know how to control this camera. No, I don't. Okay. And I don't know if you can see this. This is my my logo.
That's nice. Wow.
That was first made by my brother. And this year we're coming up with a new logo and we're rebranding ourselves with the same name, Valentine's Day.
Okay.
Wow.
And that's when our website will be up and running. And did I do this right? Yes, I did. Okay, and that's when our website will be up and running. And the jewelry business will be ongoing 24/7. So other than that, we have 2 more subsidiary companies called Trip Pros, Rideshare App, and Limousine Service that we're trying to get up and running within the next 60 days. And also we're into entrepreneur app, and we're still brainstorming this one. This one is going to help Black entrepreneurs set up legal startups, and we're going to help with business plans and tell them about different funding that might be available. Right now, this one is on a shelf for about 90 days because we're going through most of this process right now. So when we give this information, we want to give it accurate and that we've been through it and we know. And also just with that, I just recently took an online AI course and tells how AI can help with business, small businesses, large businesses, any businesses. And we can tell the new entrepreneurs how AI can help you with your business plans, help you set up a website the way you want it. And AI is really another plateau that we're trying to incorporate with everything with this new app that we're coming out with.
Okay.
Do we have any questions so far?
I want to ask you about your jewelry. What stones are you using? Stones with your jewelry, or do you just use plastic, or what?
Oh no. Well, right now we're doing. When I first tested the market, and this is advised with every company that you start to test the market. We tested it with costume jewelry and stuff like that. And the results I didn't like. This might turn my ear or something like that. So now we're just sticking to fine jewelry, sterling silver and gold.
Here's my bracelet.
And
Here's my bracelet.
Here's my bracelet. And I've had it a long time, Dr. Lula. In fact, right, we was going to one of our anniversaries downtown in Columbus, and it dropped off my arm because it wasn't click good. And this lady said, "Ma'am, did you drop something?" When I picked it up, I said, "Oh, thank you, God." I gave the lady a hug. I said, "That's from my brother. Man, if I lose that, I'll go crazy." So here it is.
All right, that's awesome.
yes, that
And
was
I
my
never take mine
bracelet.
off. I've been having mine on for years. It don't never come off.
That's right. And it
Yeah,
doesn't
Yeah,
turn
I
either.
put this in.
There you go.
I think
Doc.
that's amazing that you're starting up a limousine service. Many years ago, I went through a phase where I rode around in limousines. I was friends with the owner, Dennis Terrell, and I've got another friend. Her son is a limousine driver, so he's wanting to get back in the business as well. So,
Okay,
Yes, that was something. That was something we wanted to put a spin on with the rideshare apps, because you can always call and get a car for Uber and all of that. But we want to add a hint of luxury and add the limo
Awesome.
service with that.
yes, sir.
So that means when
Amen.
I come to New Jersey, I can get driven around in a limousine. Oh.
You better wait
That
for at
sounds
least
awesome.
3 to 4 months before you do that.
Before I come to New Jersey.
No, before you accept the limousine, because right now, like I said, AI is doing this, and AI is working on the Trip Pros and the Entrepreneur app together. But just like how they say, you put a sentence in and it'll make you an app. That's not true. You got to put your sentence in correctly and refine it and da 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 da.
I understand.
Anytime you do that, it costs you.
Right. Well, Kenny, I am so glad that you came on. I'm always glad to have my blood involved and talking about all the things that you do, because I know you've been doing a lot of things for such a long time. And also you have came to Columbus, Georgia to teach karate to my camp kids, that they'll never forget that. I still have the pictures and everything of that, teaching them how they brought the keys,
and I loved it.
to them for presents and stuff like that. And so we want to thank you for all the things you do. I'm going to shift off to your niece because she's another business person. This family is a very big business family. So we're going to, so we're going to go off to your niece right now, because I know she has some things that she's doing with her business and I don't want to hinder her. So Latavia, Dr. Lula wants to hear. Go ahead, Kenny.
One more thing. Also, K-Knox Collection, we're going to be doing franchises. So if you're thinking about, someone's thinking about the jewelry business, and I actually created this jewelry business for my daughters, and one of them has a cosmetology license here in New Jersey, and she does their hair, and I told her that incorporating this, the fine jewelry aspect with her business, wouldn't hurt.
No, it wouldn't. It would be really nice, because people, while they're sitting there getting their hair done and stuff, they're able to look at jewelry and say, "Hey, I like that," and they'll go with their hair. So that's a great idea.
And also, I'm available for teaching martial arts, so you can contact my sister.
We don't have the crawler right now, Kenny. We're still working on that, because we don't have an IT person anymore. I'm doing the best I can. But listen, can you give them your number so that they can call you if they want to talk to you about your jewelry, about karate classes, or any of that?
Okay. Yeah. My number is 973-518-6241. And we have a Facebook page under K-Knox Collection.
You want to tell them how to get to the Facebook? Is that what it's called? The website?
K-Knox Collection, yeah.
You say K9 Collection?
K-Knox.
K-N-O-X.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
I'm done. Thank you.
You're welcome. Latavia, you're up.
I can't follow that presentation.
You can.
I don't believe you.
Let me see. Well, I am the owner of Craft 24 LLC, and we do engraving, and we do vinyl work. So that's what we're doing right now.
Mhm.
I don't know what else to say.
You do T-shirts, you do mugs. I'll help you.
Oh,
I'll help you.
Do you do mugs for other people? Like what
candles.
I'm talking about like if I needed a t-shirt done that I want to resell to somebody else, can you do that?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Gary's
Now-
bought some T-shirts from her, and so did Jan.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And Wesley too. All his guys. And she's doing my Janet T-shirts, getting ready for Janet, my Janet coloring T-shirt. She's getting ready to do that for March the 21st. So yeah, I know all about her business. She's been in business a long time. You want to tell them anything else, Latavia?
My social media is I don't have a website up yet, but my social media is Craft 24 LLC, and that's on Instagram, and also it's on Facebook.
Okay.
They do some really nice stuff. In fact, when my great grandbaby went on a cruise a few weeks ago, they did a nice mug talking about my first cruise, and it was so cute. So she drinks out of all her little mugs that they've done and stuff like that. And Kenny knows all their work because he's always asking her to do things. I think he want her to do candles. I think that's what he's been telling me. So I don't know about that.
Yeah.
She got some great scented candles.
Right. And I have a new merch for Janet from Another Planet, which is pajamas, and she's getting ready to do all the labels and stuff for the pajamas and all the logos and stuff for the pajamas. And so, you know, she's really good. And also, she's not mentioned. I'm bragging over my daughter. Yes,
you are.
She also graduated from John Casablanca Modeling School, and since she wasn't tall enough to be the runway model that she wanted to be, she started in fashion designing. So she's designing children's clothes. What?
That
And
is awesome.
yes, and my great grandbaby's like
Okay, so hold on. So, well, wait a minute. I don't do most of the work now. I do the sewing work, but I do have my co-owner. He does all of the etching and the vinyl work. I do the sewing of the children clothing line.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And she's very good at it. I think her interest, and I don't know, but one of her interests that came from it is that her mama was doing her clothes when she was in high school, when she's going out to these different functions and stuff. And she loved that. She was like, Mom, this is cool. And all the kids would talk about it and stuff. And my mother sewed clothes, and she sewed me and her mommy and daughter's clothes. So I think that's something that comes down in generation. The interest does. And so she's really good at it. I mean, really good. And my granddaughter's good at it too. She used to do the mommy and me skirts and stuff for the dolls and the little girls. So we are pretty talented in that, thank God. And so thank you so much for my daughter and my brother being on here, my family, and my don't forget the 2-year-old. She was on here too earlier.
Yeah, she
So the whole family, right? So now I want to go back to Dr. Lula, and then we will come back, and I want to hear from Gary Tillon what he's doing on his project.
Okay. Well, I really believe that talking about kindness right now, it's one of those things that you have to kind of talk about all together. So I'm ready now to hear about Jan and Gary and all these other people.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be a lot more appropriate than talking about kindness right now, because everybody out here are kind.
Well, I want to start off, right? And I want to start off because, you know, bullying and building self-esteem, they hand in hand. And I started a couple of years ago, a group of girls called GRIP, Girls Rocking in Power. And what we did is we went to 5 different states, Alabama, Washington State, Georgia, Texas, and so on. And that's what these kids did. They did like skits, they did dancing, they did presentations. We sold the bully books and stuff like that to the kids. And so people wanted to be like them. They were coming up to them and getting things signed and stuff like that. And so this year I'm going to start it again because anti-bullying is so important. These kids are out there killing each other because kids are teasing them and because they're not like other kids and they're on drugs and they're being initiated in gangs and stuff like that. And all this is a part of bullying and building self-esteem. So I just want to embrace Dr. Bridges and what she does and her work dealing with these kind of things like drug substance and stuff like that. So I want to thank her so much for being my friend and being a partner. And I just hope everybody is on the same sheet of music, because we really got to help our kids with this bullying. And I don't want to tell nobody that I was a bully when I was little for a short while. But I tell you what,
I feel like this: when you have been there, you can talk about it.
That's right.
You know, so if you've been a bully, you can talk about how it feels, and you can tell the person why they don't need to be one.
That's right.
You know, being able to admit it and then explaining yourself, that's a big deal. So,
that's right.
So yeah, tell people you were a bully and tell them why you're not one now.
Yeah, so I used to bully, and I was telling a story last night, and some of these stories I tell, I get really emotional. I remember writing in my memoir. I did a memoir some years ago. I got to do it over because some of the things in there have changed since I did that. And one of them was finding who my biological father was, and we'll talk about that on some other show. But one of the things that I told my mother when I got to middle school, when I found out that there were so many wonderful things you can do in middle school and high school, that brought my attention from, you know, being bad, as they say, or being a bully, to wanting to be part of the children's network. Okay. So I told my mom, I promised her I would never get in trouble again. She would never have to come to school or whoop me again for being bad. And I never got in trouble again. And then that's when I became a leader. That's when I became the president of the Student Federation, the Human Rights Commission, the president of the Student Council, the captain of the track team. And so with that, that's how I started my political career. So I'm going to tell you something. If the kids know that they can do so much more with their life than bullying somebody else and try to help somebody else in a kind way, that's where the foundation of kindness come from. You got to learn that there's much more things out there to do than to bully somebody or to, you know, talk about somebody or, you know, make somebody feel bad. You want to make people feel good, because when you make people feel good, you feel good. And that was one of my reasons of becoming a pastor, is because my ministry is to help other people. So that's my take in it. You know, so anybody else?
Yeah, I think that those are very important. That's very important to know that one of the things that you can do with your children is to teach them what else they can do other than bully somebody else. Mm-hmm. Show them their skills. Let them know that they do have other skills. Mm-hmm. And so that's a great point. That's a very good point.
Anybody else?
Well, I'm not sure where to start. But
does that mean you were a bully, or you was being bullied?
No, I've never been bullied, because as we discussed last night, I had older brothers and sisters who didn't tolerate any foolishness from anyone saying anything to me. But the thing that I'm remembering is some stories that I've heard from other children in this time and age. I have a nephew. He is an attorney, but he quit going to high school because he was being bullied every day. And the boys were trying to get him to join their gang. And so he quit going to school. And my sister, his mom, she was very upset with him. And she was like, "You're going to that school." And he refused to go. Mm-hmm. And so he did find himself with a religious group, and he has become a lawyer. But I often ask him what was going on, the reason why you just stopped going, because he was an excellent student, so smart. He said, because they would take you into the bathroom and they would beat you into submission of joining their gang. Well, people never talk about how that's bullying. It's nothing but bullying.
That's right.
And I don't hear a lot of people saying that. They just say, "Oh, he belongs to a gang." No, he belongs to a bunch of bullies who made him join that type of thing. But he didn't give in. He did not. He just decided, I just won't go. And then also, like I said, now he's an attorney. He lives in Arizona. He works and everything. But my grandson, who was an athlete, and he loved basketball, he loved football, and he went to school. He lived in Florida, Fort Myers to be exact. And when I knew anything, he had stopped going to school. And I said, why would you stop going to school? He said, because every day on my way to school, I had to fight before I even got to the school. I had to fight if I wanted to go to the playground and shoot basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And he just quit going. And now he doesn't do sports. He's not in school, even though I try to tell him, you can still, accomplish and, what you want.
So like his father apparently had some very high self-esteem. He rised above all that, right? But that means that your nephew's self-esteem is not where it needs to be, because
just the opposite.
Yeah, just the opposite, right? And that's why I say self-esteem and bullying go hand in hand, because that's what I did. Once I found out that, hey, I'm not going to be bullied anymore. That's what made me become a leader, because then I always had that protection on keeping bullies from even trying to convince me to do anything. Like, for instance, I used to be with girls that smoked cigarettes. I decided I never was going to smoke. That's not what I liked. I didn't like the smell. Right. I wasn't going to do it. So my self-esteem was like, I'm going to do what I think is right. I'm not going to do something because somebody else is doing it. And that's where I think bullying and self-esteem, they're kind of like hand in hand. You got to have one more than you have the other. And so, So that's the problem with him. He's going to have to find out what makes him strong.
Yeah, I agree with that. And hopefully I can get him to, try to do better.
How young men are, they tend to have more of a issue with building their self-esteem, because they feel like they're supposed to be courageous. They feel like they're supposed to be strong. Whereas young ladies tend to, you can build their self-esteem by helping them look better or feel better. Those kind of things, that would make them feel better about themselves. Although that sounds like it's superficial, but sometimes it's, they're bullying me because my hair is not combed like
That's
somebody
right.
else, or but once the hair is combed, but even once you change the hairstyle, the child has to understand that your hairstyle is who you are. I gotta tell you this story. So my sister-in-law has some mental illness, and Jan, you know my sister-in-law.
Right.
She's one of those very interesting people. Well, they came out to the house to interview her because they heard that she was having some problems. So her hair, she wears it, it looks matted, but it's not matted. Okay. It's just, she got it really tight. She has a lot of it, but she has it really, really tight. And so when the lady gave a report to the judge, one of the things that she said, which really shocked me being a black woman, her being a black woman, we being black, she said, oh, her hair was all matted up, and I mean, it was shaped now. Don't get me wrong, it's all shaped. It looks good on her. And so she said her hair was all matted up and she was wearing dirty clothes. Now you were in her house. You're in her house, and this is during the day, and she could be washing dishes or anything. So if you had seen her out in the street and she had dirty clothes on, then you could say that could be part of the mental illness. But she's at her house. So the way people perceive others should not be the way you perceive yourself, just because somebody perceive you that way. And my sister-in-law came on later, we're talking to the judge, and so she came on later, and she said, when I leave in the morning, if my hair is not like I want it, I put my cap on. And then I walk down to the store and I visit my friend and I get coffee or whatever I want, and then I come back to the house. She said, it takes 20 minutes for me to relax because I'm not a baby anymore. She's 62. I'm not a baby anymore. So even with her mental illness, she was able to defend herself. I'm saying, so you can't let the perception of somebody else keep you from being who you are. If your hair is all over your head and that's the way you like to wear it, and you feel good about that, then you accept that because that's who you are. But
That's right. And speaking of,
sometimes, though,
Dr. Lulu, just not to cut you off, but just speaking of
Yes,
hair, I
ma'am.
remember when I was running the last time for the NAACP president, and I remember I had a mohawk. All right. And I remember when I was running, I remember a couple of people said to me that you need to go and do something with your hair because that I'm like, what did that have to do with me being capable of being a president of the NAACP?
Right.
What my hair got to do with that, you know? And they
Right.
said, well, you just don't have that look. They said, what look you talking about? Is it about the
Right.
look or is it about the organization? Is it about building the organization or is it about the look? It's not about me. It's not even about me. It's about what I can do to help people.
Right.
So,
Right.
you know, I didn't do it. I didn't change it because I felt good in my skin. I felt good with my hair. So my self-esteem just, you know, that's me. That's the way I'm going to be.
Mhm,
That's it, you know.
mhm.
And a lot of the kids don't have that. If other kids say they don't like your hair, then they want to go home and say, Mama, I got to do something about my hair. And so they don't want to go back to school no more.
They don't want to go back to school
Or if they don't have
because
the right, if they don't have name brand clothes or something like that, they say, "Oh, Mama, they must have got my clothes from a cheap place because nobody don't wear that stuff."
Well,
right, right.
I do understand what you all are saying and where you're going with that, particularly about the bullying. But I think some of it comes from when, as far as I can relate to, when children are being moved around a lot to different schools, different environments. They have to make friends all over again.
Mhm.
And that plays a lot on their self-esteem because as I
Yes.
talk about my grandson who lives in Florida now, okay, he started out in Florida, then she moved him to Georgia, then she moved him over here to Alabama, then she moved them. And those children, when they're small children and they don't have any family or friends, they
Right.
feel alone and isolated. And sometimes they pick up with the wrong kind of people, and sometimes people bully them into doing things. That's
Right.
from my perspective. So
Right.
if you got older brothers and sisters that's in that school with you, which is the protection that I had when I
Mhm.
was growing up, even though my mother, she would move us around a lot. But I had 3 older siblings who looked out for me. So I never
Mhm.
felt that burden, but I don't know exactly how they felt about it, but as I
Mhm.
speak about my grandson, and he's the oldest of his sister and brother. And then when their mom moved, he got to try to protect them. So
Mhm.
he's
Mhm.
being bullied.
Right.
So
Right.
it's a horrible thing for
It
young
is.
people to have to deal with. And I tell young parents all the time, you have to be stable with your children because they have to make friends over. They have
Right.
to start over each time you decide to move them somewhere.
Right.
That's right. Listen,
Right.
guys, I gotta
That's
take a
right.
break right quick, and then I'm gonna come back and I want to ask our Miss Baldwin and Mr. Till if they have anything that they want to say. I'm gonna go ahead and do this right quick, okay?
Okay.
So, of course, guys, we're talking about bullying and stuff like that. I think a lot of this stuff comes from faith too. I think a lot of it comes from
Mhm.
fear over faith instead of faith over fear. And I think we need to get our kids back into the Bible. I think we need to get our kids, and not so much back into the building, the church, because we know a lot of our Jay-Z's don't go to church anymore, but they are still faithful and they still believe, but they just don't go to church anymore because they're tired of going to church and seeing the pastor driving around in these nice cars and people living in houses, and then they see their mother struggling trying to pay her bills. And so they can't understand that because they feel like if the church is supposed to be this place, this very special place, why is these things happening versus what's happening to them? So we got to get our kids back into the Bible. We got to get them back into church. And every Sunday we have the National Children's Church Academy, where right now we're doing spiritual warfare because I see a lot of that is going on. But we need to get them back in it. It's every Sunday at 3:00 Eastern time, 2:00 Central time. And these are things that we can talk to our children about: bullying, about self-esteem. This is the stuff that we need to incorporate, like Dr. Lula has done with Micah 6:8. She has put that in the loop with the bullying. And I think that we can do that with all scripture. We can go and look for scripture and have these kids to recite this stuff and then know what it means. And it'll help them and make them stronger, because we're fighting the spiritual warfare, and that is not against flesh. That is against the spiritual evils. So therefore, guys, we want you to come and join us every Sunday, 3:00 Eastern time, 2:00 Central time. I'm going to go back to Dr. Lula now.
I think this is a really good conversation to have, because once Jan was talking about her grandson moving around a lot and all these things that happened to him and why he feels like he does. That is very significant. The things that you were saying, Jan, and I hope that the people that are listening will hear that, because that's very important that your children are stable. But what's even more important is that when we see our children struggling, that we step in and find out where the struggle is coming from.
That's right.
We have to, because I can tell you that I've had children who have had their cousins hang themselves. One little boy hung himself because he felt that his mother didn't love him, because all the things that he was going through, his mom never stepped up to the plate. She never tried to find out why he was going through it or what was happening. So he was so angry with her that he hung himself, and he was 11 years old. So we have to be very, very careful to step up to the plate. When we see our children struggling, at least ask, why are you struggling? What is going on with you that maybe I can help? Ask how you can help, because a lot of times children might want to do it for themselves. But just knowing that you are their backbone, that you're willing to step in if something goes wrong.
Right. I'm glad that you said that, Dr. Lou, because one of the things as parents, as parental involvement, that we have to get used to is talking to our children. We talk about how important communication. That's what my degree is in.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is that a lot of times, even my almost 2.5-year-old grandbaby, when she comes home from school, you know what I ask her? She may not understand it, but eventually they come to her. I said, "How was school today?"
Yeah.
Now, a lot of times when they get 3 and 4 years old, they'll tell you somebody was bothering them, or the teacher did something wrong to them. So we have to know these things. We have to start communication when they're little. So I said, "How was school today?" She said, "Yes." I said, "So school was okay?" "Yes." So she knows how to answer me. So that way she would trust me that if something was happening later on, she'll be able to
come in and tell you.
That's exactly right. So that's what we have to do. We started asking our children how their schoolwork is going, how they're doing here, how's their friends doing, what y'all going to do this weekend. We have to start getting involved. And I used to go to my daughter's room sometimes and look around and stuff to see if I see things that are not supposed to be there. We don't do that. You know what I'm saying? We don't
I agree. I do. I agree with that. Go ahead, Kenny.
Gary had his hand up.
Go ahead, Gary.
I'm going to tie the children's church into this. Back when I was in middle school, there was somebody that I considered a bully, and I thought to myself, well, he could never be a Christian, and because if he was a Christian, he wouldn't be a bully. God had to put a muzzle on my mouth, because several years later, I opened up a church directory, and by golly, there his picture was in the church directory.
You never know who's coming back.
Yes. Yes, so I do agree with parents getting involved with their children. Ask your children how they're doing. And I also want to encourage any young parents that are watching this. I encourage them to let them know that Jesus is also a friend of their kids. Let your kids know, your sons and your daughters know, that Jesus will never leave you nor abandon you. He will always be with you.
That's right. Right. Ms. Baldwin, you had something to say?
Also, I think the most important thing to do is you go to your child and say, that you can talk to me about anything without you getting totally angry.
Right.
There have to be some conditions on that.
Right.
Even though sometimes you might want to strangle them, but at least they open that dialogue with you.
That's right.
And sometimes a parent can be going through a lot too. It's sometimes it's not easy to make ends meet, but you got to stay strong, and you can't have your children looking at you like, I can't do this. sometimes that builds up on a parent.
Mhm.
Believe me, I know. I had 8 kids.
And
So-
I hear you. I hear what you're saying. The parents are going through something, the children are going through something, but we have to realize that it is our responsibility as parents, regardless of what we're going through. Even if you sit down with the child and say, listen, you know what, I'm going through this is happening to me, but you know what, whatever is going on with you, I want to know. Your situation is important to me, because number one, if he is worried about it, he can't take care of it. And if he can't take care of it, somebody is bullying him or hurting him, or even if it's emotional hurt, he can't take care of it. But whatever you're going through, 9 times out of 10, you'll be able to work it out. But he's not. That child will not be. So you must take time out to at least tell the child what you said. You know, you can talk to me about anything. And I tell you, going to college, that was a big deal for me. My uncle told me, he said, as long as you don't lie to me, I will be by your side. Now, there were things I did that I knew I wasn't supposed to be doing, and I wouldn't tell him about it. But if he didn't ask, I didn't tell him. But if he asked me, I told him the truth. That was his thing. I will be by your side as long as you tell me the truth. And so telling our children that, I mean, you know, I'm living my life, but at the same time, I know I have a backbone. I have somebody that I can depend on. And that means a whole lot. Because of how much you're going.
How about that, Dr. Lula? That is amazing. Praise the Lord. Amen.
Miss Baldwin, do you have anything to say? Miss Baldwin?
Children are different today.
Yeah,
they really are.
They are.
These because the kids are growing up with, their mothers are young.
Yes.
We doing, like here in Appleton County, we do like a mentorship program, and we go into the school very often, but we can't get these young women, these young mothers to come to PTA meetings.
That's right.
You know, they concerned about their job. I gotta work.
That's right.
It's like they throw their kids off on somebody else.
Yes.
The children are different. I remember when I was growing up, my grandmother kept me in the church.
Mm-hmm.
There was no doubt. You going to church today.
That's right.
Bible study, all of this. But today, these children are different.
Well,
they don't know.
They got to put the fear of God back in them.
Yes, yes.
And then a lot of the parents are scared of the children. And the reason they're scared of the children is because the system has said that if you whoop your children, then we're going to put you in jail. But guess what? Somebody is whooping that child somewhere else when they are out there in the street. Somebody
in jail.
In jail. Prison. Somebody is whooping them. So you have to
and that's
decide.
basically where they want them to be, in jail.
That's right.
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 And so,
absolutely.
the mentality is that you know, you can't. And don't get me wrong, I know that there are some parents that actually abuse their children. I mean, really abuse their children. But 9 times out of 10, from the parents that I've worked with, the worst abuse to me is when you cuss your child out and you call them all types of names. You know, when you turn them over and you spank them on their rear end, and I mean, and they understand why they're getting that spanking, to me, that is discipline. That's another part of discipline. It's not the only discipline that you should use with your children. You should have a variety of things. The first thing is that they have to understand what is going on and why what you're doing is important and what they're doing is wrong. See, you can't just, you know, you get mad at them and you call them names and you know, you talk about their daddy and all these kind of things that happens with children, and the kid gets confused. You know, well, maybe I am a bad person because mama said I'm just like daddy. You know, and the child never met daddy, so they don't know that daddy's a bad person or not. So we have to be very careful and very mindful of the things that we say to them.
That's true.
But you know, and the many times that, or I put them in time out, or I did this, I did that. Sometimes it's so much easier for you and the child to just look, I been getting in all types of trouble. I hope my insurance is working. But it's so much easier to say, all right, you had 3 choices. I asked you, what do you want? What is it that you want to do? Because you know that what you did is wrong. When you explain it to them, make sure that they understand what they did. And once you know they do, you say, you're being belligerent. Have you all heard that word belligerent?
That's right.
Jerry? Y'all just went on it. You know what belligerence is? You are being belligerent, which means that you are testing my patience. You are just trying to see. That child may need a couple of licks on the behind. Get in the corner and sit down over here with me. Sit down here, because maybe the child needs some attention too.
Yes.
Sometimes children act out because they need attention.
Yeah.
When you
I
can
agree.
give them that and they go to school,
That's
true. They can say, I know my mom loves me, I know my dad loves me, and they themselves feel like it's okay for me to deal with this bully, or it's okay for me to say whatever I have to say. But when you already told this child that you're nothing, that you're trash, when you done put that in their heads that they're no good. So
right. Listen, I don't want to cut you off, but our time is running out. I'm going to let you. I'm going to let you close, but I have one more announcement, and okay. So guys, listen. We got on March the 21st, 2026, in Columbus, Georgia, from 10 to 2 o'clock. We'll be doing our book tour there. We'll have all the book writers there and all the children that are writing books there. We have face painting and the bouncy house, and we'll have a class by Dr. Lula Bridges for parental involvement, talking about these things. And so it's going to be very, very awesome. We're going to have Mr. Books there. He's going to be doing like skits and stuff like that. It's going to be totally awesome. So we want everybody to make their way, make their reservations or whatever for Columbus, Georgia on the 21st of March. This is going to be totally awesome. And that will kick off our tour that we'll be going around to different states and stuff, doing the Janet from Another Planet, while Dr. Lula will be the face of parental involvement and everything else that she does. But anyway, I want to just go ahead and say thank you guys so much for coming on today. I'm going to let Dr. Lula close us out and also pray for us. Okay, Dr. Lula.
Okay. Anybody here? I thought I saw somebody's hand. Okay. So this is what I want to say. I want to say that in order for us to make sure that our children understand what kindness looks like, and we have to show it, we have to say it to them, we have to practice it in front of them,
That's
and
right.
we have to praise them when they do a good job. When they are kind to others, we have to praise them. So having said that, and I do get very excited about this part because I have met quite a few children who have felt that they were nothing because they were told they were nothing. So we have to be very mindful about what we say to our children. All right. Most gracious Heavenly Father, thank you for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you for all the small businesses. Lord, we ask you that you will continue to work with us and strengthen us and keep us safe. But Lord, help our businesses to grow. We ask, Lord, that you will take care of our families and our many friends. Bless those, Lord, who have lost loved ones. And Lord, go with our children. Let them know that you love them.
Yes.
And because you love them, they are somebody special. These and other blessings, Lord, we ask in your Son Jesus' name. Amen.
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 Thank you so much, everybody. Stay warm. And if your roads are icy, please do not get out and drive on icy roads.
That's
That's
right.
right. Thank you, Gary.
Gary, you're awesome.